Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be covering a few headlines around the world, in the US and here in Canada. Let's get to it. So many of you have seen in overseas news the recent tensions in the Ukraine-Russia situation, and this is sparking fears of a much larger scale conflict. This from Mere News. The headline is World War III fears rise as Europe is at its closest to armed conflict in 30 years. The Polish foreign minister says that there is a risk of major military escalation as tension builds in Ukraine, Georgia, Armenia, and Moldova, all of which have active or frozen conflicts. Russia denies that they are preparing for an invasion, but then again, we're talking about Russia. So I don't have a lot to say on this. I'm not an expert, but it just seems like, in keeping with the trends of the past 2 years, yeah, World War III makes sense. Anybody get that for 2022? Moving on to U.S. political news, the Vice President Kamala Harris recently did an interview, and many of you have probably seen it already, but I can't let it go without saying something about it. And let's roll clip.
At what point does the administration say, you know what, this strategy isn't working, we're going to change strategies? 6 former administration officials last week wrote that open letter urging the administration to change course, to change strategy. Is it time?
It is time for us to do what we have been doing, and that time is every day. Every day it is time for us to agree that there are things and tools that are available to us to slow this thing down.
Okay. There's a lot going on in that sentence. As some would say, there's a lot to unpack here. Let's break it down. Okay. So, it is time, okay? It's time we need to do something. It is right now is the time for us to do what we have been doing. So what we've been doing this thing already, we could possibly be doing it right now, and it is time to do that thing. And that time is every day. So every day we should do what we already have been doing every day. And every day it is time for us to agree. So everybody, all the time, needs to agree with Kamala Harris. This is my best interpretation of that sentence. Moving on to COVID news, an interesting study has come out of Britain indicating that masked people are more attractive. This is from Guardian News. Researchers at Cardiff University were surprised to find that both men and women were judged to look better with a face covering, obscuring the lower half of their faces. I was surprised to hear that too. The experiment was conducted by asking 43 women to rate on a scale of 1 to 10 the attractiveness of images of male faces without a mask, with a plain cloth mask, with a blue medical face mask, and holding a black book covering the lower half of their face. Participants found the men with a cloth mask more attractive than the unmasked or those with a book, but the surgical mask came out on top. A similar study was conducted with men answering the questions and women in the images with similar results, but has not yet been published. So I have a few points on this. There could not possibly have been any significant amount of conservatives among those 43 test subjects, and I question the sanity of everyone involved in this experiment. Researchers, people in the photos, people reviewing the photos. And second point, I can't get out of my mind this picture of how stupid everybody must have looked holding up the black book. Hold on, let me try it myself. And my third point, this is tremendous news for ugly people, such as myself, at least for the duration of the mask mandates. I am now in the attractive crowd, a place which I have never been in my life. And finally, on a more serious note, this is a sign of how the pandemic has changed our thought processes and the way we think and what the psychological norm is. Because it started out with, it's uncomfortable, but we have to do it to protect those around us. And then it became, like, it doesn't really hurt you, just comply, just do it. And then it came to the point where anyone who refused to wear a mask was anti-science and homicidal, and they're killing your grandparents if you didn't wear the mask. And now it's become a moral good thing, and now a societal good thing. It's a socially acceptable and desirable thing to do because it improves everything, including your attractiveness. And as you know, this is all propaganda. I trust you all know better. Don't fall for it. And one final thing I want to get to is the situation with Ronald McDonald House charity in British Columbia. This has gone viral on the internet over the past few days, as 2 chapters of the charity's living facilities in the province will be requiring proof of vaccination for anyone staying at or visiting the house, staff, parents, and children included, anyone over the age of 5. And the cutoff date for that is January 31st. And this became an internet sensation because the father of a 4-year-old with leukemia posted the letter that he received from the charity and filmed himself talking to one of the workers, saying, quote, "This is some kind of crazy evil like I've never seen," end quote. And understandably, the internet blew up, and people all over Twitter were organizing a Boycott McDonald's campaign. Everybody was very upset that these people could be evicted. And since then, McDonald's has come out and made it clear that they will not be evicting anyone outright, but they will be providing them with alternate accommodations if they are not vaccinated, at least with the first dose, by the cutoff date. And also, something that's been cleared up, I was under the impression that this policy was nationwide, charity-wide. Apparently it's a chapter by chapter decision, so as of now it's only those 2 specific locations in British Columbia. And this eases things somewhat, but it doesn't make it completely right. This is still wrong. It is still evil. Because the question we have to ask is, are seriously ill children less important than ensuring that everyone in your building has taken a drug which prevents neither infection nor spread of a disease which at this point is the equivalent of the common cold? And for McDonald's and RMHC, the answer appears to be yes. That's all for today's video. If you enjoyed it, like and subscribe, hit the bell, and we'll see you later this week.